What's up, guys? Jordan from Bennett's Customs. Bit different today. We picked up a 48 Ariel Red Hunter, or NH350, whatever you want to call it. I'm not crazy familiar with Ariels, so correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm not saying it right, but it's a single overhead valve. Beautiful bike. It's been restored by a gentleman north of us, and we picked it up yesterday. Really nice fella, and yeah, we have a bit of a plan with it. So long story short, Ben's 38 Triumph that you guys have seen, the one that's kind of built like a board tracker, unfortunately we just haven't had the time between the race car and other stuff we have going on in here. We just weren't able to get the motor fully finished and the bike done for Kalgoorlie. So this is the next bet. That's the motor. There's also more stuff we just got from over there. Little morning haul this morning. Picked up a, I think it's a 50 or 51 Royal Enfield 500cc motor, which is cool, and a rigid Ariel frame. I don't know, maybe I'll build something. And heaps of girder stuff, which is cool. And these are my favorite thing. Come over, come over and have a quick look. Got some nice 19-inch and a 21-inch Jones rim, but look at these things, mate. It's like someone must have made them. I don't know. They kind of look made, but they're so sick. Someone building a nice ratty chopper with those things hanging off the back. Like, pretty sick. Some cocktails and lots of girder stuff. Heaps of girder things. Got another one here. Got a BSA one. Don't know what I'll do with it, but back to regular programming. The idea with this is it is a little bit new for the race, so we're making it old. It's going to look the part, and everything is going to be, you know, to what we want to do. So luckily we went up and saw the Scotsman. He gave us a nice original bait seat. He gave us a Jones tank with no inside, so that's good because I'm going to have to modify it anyways to let it sit down on there. A little pea pad that he made. It's not too little, it's actually quite big, but it is really nice. Fits really well, and we got this really nice little fender that we're going to use too, so that's going to go on there. We actually do have a couple other fenders if we choose to use one, and we're going to put that on with the bait seat. Different set of bars. We're going to put the 38 Triumph girder front end on here with the larger wheel, and we do have another tire that will stick on the back. The ones on here are just a little bit too modern. What we want to do is basically take the whole front end of this off, tank, rear guard, toolbox, all the bits, and we're just going to store them away and just keep them because we don't want to kind of ruin any of this. This is, you know, trying to find a factory Ariel tank in that condition is probably pretty tough. So we want to, even the Smith's gauge, like, man, it's just everything on this bike is just too nice for us. So we want to pull it all off. We're going to store it away, and we're going to put all the ugly bits on, and then we're going to race it. Well, Ben will. Ben and I now are just going to strip it down and just mock up a few things and just see what, you know, an hour of mocking up and make this thing completely transform it. So let's get into it.
time I think of you, well, something happens in my mind. And every time I try to leave, you're keeping me occupied. I'm losing track of time. I'm losing track of time. Sometimes love is a thought we held too long. Sometimes it's alright just to be a little wrong, with no sense of consequence, the strength to carry on. The day breaks in the darkest place right before the dawn. So if you ever lie awake with situations in your mind, and you try to sleep it off, but night keeps on passing by, you're losing track of time.
Massive transformation so far. Yeah, I think maybe in the time lapse you just kind of saw what we were after. Trying to make this thing kind of work, and I'll give you a better side angle once we kind of get a few things mounted. But right now I'm just working on the seat. I want to get that kind of fixed into place, so I'm just going to make some brackets for it now. We're going to bolt that in. We're going to get the struts and maybe like a small little grab handle for the back fender mount, and then we'll make a few more pieces and kind of get this fixed up, and then it'll be in place, and then we can kind of continue forward. So we got to work on that girder front end pretty soon. Got to cut out the bottom of the Jones tank. There's nothing in that, so let's keep moving forward.
Right here by my side. So if you wanna take a ride and see what happens down the road, find yourself a pair of gloves and get yourself a warmer coat. Oh yes, we'll be doing fine. Just losing track of time. Just losing track of time.
Hit me, baby, one more time. My loneliness is killing me, killing me. I can't confess, I still believe. All right, so basically, this is kind of the layout we were at. You just saw the B-roll of it outside. We just kind of wanted to get it out and on in a congested area, kind of like we do with the race car. And just to see if we like it and play around with heaps of stuff. I mean, we had that Jones tank that was pink. Now it's not pink, it's black. I just rattle canned it really quickly because we were just trying to see if colors were throwing us off. Then we had this tank on from the Triumph, and we weren't sure if we liked that, and then we painted it black, and then it actually looked incredible. And now we're just gonna start playing around with like the height of the fender. We kind of want it to sit not parallel to the tire, but up a little bit more in the back. And then we were playing around with this early seat. I'm not actually entirely sure what it is. Some of you may know. I think it might be like BSA, early BSA, because a lot of these parts that I got from a really nice gentleman was a lot of BSA or British stuff. But there's that, there's the bait seat. I don't know, maybe the bait seat might look quite nice, especially when we put on the new front tire. And then we want to have some sort of transition, not sure which way the pad's gonna go, or maybe like this, so that it's a little bit more like level on the top, so that we can, you know, you can get your back sitting on here and you can get real low for in the straights. You know, you don't want to be sitting up here, you want to be kind of like down low and really holding on. So, oh no, we're just gonna build some struts now, get the rear fender fitted and mounted, and then we'll look at trying to get the tank fitted and mounted, and then we'll just play around with the seat afterwards. Maybe get this one wrapped, maybe put this one in there, unsure. But we'll come up with some ideas as we go. Okay, so right now we've obviously just figuring out different setups for the bike, seats, the tank, bars, etc. have to do a fair bit of work to the front girders to make them work. But we will get them done, which is awesome. So it's really going to make the bike. Right now, what we're going to use is obviously sand bent header pipe, or exhaust pipe, whatever you want to call it, that the Scotsman had made for a previous project, and was just hanging on the wall, and like it almost looks like it was meant to be for this. So we have a little flange that slides over, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly where this is going to sit. I'm probably going to pull this in a fair bit, get it a little bit closer, and then we're going to make a little mount for it. We're going to flare the end similar to what I've done on the race car, and we'll get this all cleaned up so we can send it off to the nickel platers today. a little bit of a time crunch. Got to get everything to nickel plating within 2 hours and still have a ton of work to do on the race car. We're not rushing it. We're just probably a lot more cool things it could have done. But anyways, I welded a flange on. Usually I probably would have like heated this up and bulged it and slid it over so it all looked like one piece. But I actually kind of like the way that looks, and then it'll have your clamp on right there. And I don't know, just kind of maybe adds a little bit of aesthetics. I got my bolt welded in the bottom, so that's gonna go underneath. That'll be the mount for it. And right now I'm gonna cut this and we're gonna bulge this or flare the end of this. So I'm just gonna mock it up, make sure I know exactly where it's gonna go.
Be the shiny one.
So this is basically what we've come up with. So I made a little flange there, welded and finished it. I kind of actually really like that look. I think it looks quite neat. And then you got your nice little mount on there. Comes around, travels all the way to the back. I got my little mount there that'll pick up this, so you won't even see that. And then we got the little tip on the end, flared very similar to the Roadster. I reckon that looks pretty damn good. So we're gonna pack this up now, wrap it in some bubble wrap, and send it up to get nickel plated. Alright, so basically what we're doing is adapting what I think is an early Triumph girder to the Ariel neck. And what we used was a girder from an Ariel, which is right here. I'll show you. I'll just take you over. But what we had to do is I had to machine up a bunch of little brass spacers, and what those have done is I've pressed them in there, and they've now been able to utilize the Triumph bar that goes through to hold the brackets. So I'm just going to do the top one, and these are the ones that I punched out, and they were obviously for a larger shaft. What we've was able to do is basically the whole neck set up on this Ariel stem. Everything worked really well for the shaft size that we have. And then what I've done is just machine these up. So I'm just going to press these into here, and then we're going to go and dry fit everything and make sure it works.
Nobody needs to know. Surrender to the grief. Nobody needs to know. Let go. We're stirring up make it all glow. Dress up inside, you're part of the rainbow. It's your right. Trauma in every cell, no wonder why we dwell. Medicine don't stand a chance as we dance. Lay down, bend on giving. I'll take your skin. Naked among them sins, let go of what has been. Make it all glow. Dress up inside, you're part of the rainbow. It's your right. Now let it all show. Pave the way for the ones behind. We'll be the sun, not a gray cloud. Stand out. Or be the sun, not a gray cloud. Stand out.
So I have the new mounts welded in. As you can see, the two petcocks have been welded in and the mounts have been put on. What I'm going to do is take the old petcocks and drill in and weld them in the back, because these are two separate tanks. And then what we'll do is petcock will kind of sit in maybe on an angle like that on both sides, and then we'll make a T that goes down into the carburetor. So we're going to drill these out now, get them cleaned up and weld them in.